Warning: the Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern. and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here as we prepare for the 13th race of Season 6 of the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series, returning to Chicagoland Speedway, which, incredibly enough, people may not remember, but Chicagoland Speedway has only been run one other time previously here in Duracell Cup Series history, and that was all the way back in Season 1. Since then, it's been replaced by tracks like Coca-Cola Super Speedway and Richmond. It's now back on the schedule here. Now, back when it was replaced, when it had its only race, it was actually the first race of the playoffs. It is the last race of the regular season here, preparing us for All-Star Race Weekend in Season 6. But I'm trying to remember why exactly Chicagoland ended up getting replaced. If I recall correctly, I think that for the most part, Chicagoland was one of those rare mile-and-a-half racetracks where it was really a wreck fest. It was not really good racing, and so it ended up thusly getting replaced on the schedule, never came back until here today. We'll see if it redeems itself in this one, as drivers will be having twofold goals here today. Of course, trying to win their way into the playoffs with the upcoming final 13 races after the All-Star break, but also, as mentioned, All-Star Race Weekend's coming up next week, and this is the last opportunity via a points-paying race to lock yourself into that All-Star Race field before you then would eventually, if you're not already locked in, have to rely on the All-Star Open. So we'll see what happens here today. So far, we've had 12 races. We've had 12 different drivers go to victory lane. It's been a kind of mixed bag of the young guns versus the grizzled veterans. Last week, it was the veteran, Keith Batson, going to victory lane at the Lady in Black Darlington, possibly securing himself a spot in the playoffs. He jumped up 8 spots in the standings to 17th after that victory. Also, if you ended up taking a look at the point standings after last week's Darlington race, you will have noticed that things are getting very dicey around that 30th in the standings cut line. Chris Dollerton had a good run last week. He's now moved up close to that cut line area after he was mired down around 36th, 37th in points a couple of weeks ago. But there's a couple other drivers that are in danger coming into today's race. They would include Daniel Voiles. He is right now 30th in the point standings, only 1 point up on our Pocono winner Joshua Osborne, who's 31st, and then Chris Dollerton is 32nd. He's only 3 points behind the cut line. So you've got a trio of former winners that are right there around that cut line area. They would definitely like to end up getting a good finish, if not a second win here today at Chicagoland, give themselves a nice cushion heading into the second half of the regular season, that portion of the season I like to call the chase towards the chase for the championship. But we'll have to wait and see all of what happens here today. It's an all Ford front row. Ford has been very strong here this season. They've had, I believe, at least half of the victories so far this year. Keith Batson, the most recent one, going to victory lane last week. And you've got Mitchell Collins, former winner this year from Manassas. He's going to line up on the pole position. I believe this is Collins' first pole of the season, and indeed it is. He'll be alongside of Benjamin Snyder, who almost ended up winning that race at Sonoma, came up just short. Ended up finishing inside the top 5 nonetheless. Benjamin's 21st in the point standings, but doing a good job in his rookie campaign, and he will be leading us to green on the outside of row number 1. We're going to be giving you all the scenarios heading into All-Star Race Break as far as point standings, as far as playoff scenarios, etc., but it's time to go down trackside, get those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
Field's going to roll off. You'll see the starting lineup on the right side of your screen for the 42 drivers. as we've got an issue with the pole sitter. Mitchell Collins is not going to be able to roll off the grid. Oh, that is a tough break there for driver 33. And I think that means that Ryan Butcher subsequently is going to be the one to lead us to green. Collins will still get credit for the pole, but unless he can get whatever the issue was fixed and get out there before we go green, he will more than likely fall a lap down. Now let's take the opportunity here to give you your top 10 in the point standings coming to this one. Matt Haas, the points leader, 29 points over Michael Norman. Will Hoer is actually tied with Michael Norman for second, 29 points back as well. Nick Gunther jumped up 3 spots last week to fourth. He's 57 points out. 58 points back is James Qualls in fifth. RJ Bishop is 66 points back. Levi McIntyre is 7th, 72 points back. As a matter of fact, it's a three-way tie for 7th. Al Oliera and Mitchell Collins also 72 points back. And then a tie for 10th between Nathan Ormond and Cole Deaver. 73 points separate the top 11 in the point standings. That's a big break there for Mitchell Collins, who just mentioned he was in that three-way tie for 7th coming into today, points-wise, and trying to be the first multi-time winner on the season. But Ryan Butcher's Toyota will end up being the one to bring us to green, and we are underway here at Chicagoland. You saw on the previous winners list, obviously only one race prior was ran in Season 1. The winner of that event in the field today, the 38 of Jose Mills. Dylan Young, big run there, big push from Rick Johnson. Now they take it 3 wide for the lead. A little unsteady there through 3 and 4. Did the 2 car in that middle line. Who led the first lap? Was it Young? Was it Johnson? Telemetry says it was Rick Johnson in the 93, our winner from Texas. As we are 3 wide, several rows deep here in the early going. This could be very sketchy because Chicagoland does not have a straight back straightaway. They are still turning left. It's a very odd ovalish backstretch here at this racetrack. And look at how the entire middle line is moving around, and Rick Johnson just got the wall in the 93. He's going to check up the outside line, but everybody for the moment keeping the fenders on is Quentin Moore led a lap in the 89. Now Rob Evans going to drive to the inside and look for the top position. So we're about to maybe have 3 laps with 3 different race leaders, as nobody seems to be able to keep the top position. Evans won't lead the lap because here comes RJ Bishop on the inside, and there's last week's winner, Keith Batson, looking for back-to-back victories here. So that was near contact between the 89 and the 66 there, around the 5th spot. And Batson will lead that lap. Mitchell Collins in the 33 appears to be out of the race. Did not even get to take the green flag, did our pole sitter. That is a tough break. Not even being scored on the running order. Let's double check and see. Yeah, no car on pit road. They've pushed that Pennzoil Ford Mustang to the garage yard. We got a wreck and we got a flip. Jack Dunnard is up and over out of turn 4. Cautions out. Laura Chung will lead them back to the line. And it must have been the angle of impact because the 88, immediately when I looked, was up and over and barrel rolling out of turn 4. Dust covering the front straightaway as Kyle Matthews, our winner from a few weeks ago at Coke Zero Super Speedway. That car is all torn up. Jesse Turner with a lot of damage on the 47. Can't tell if James Qualls got damage. Yeah, looks like there's a buckle on the hood. His teammate Joshua Osborne may have also been involved. There's left side damage, I'm sorry, on the 25 of Benjamin Miles, dead last in points. He's been trying to get a decent finish. Benjamin's still looking for his first top 10 on the year. Looks like I've counted about 5 or 6 drivers that had some damage from this one. As Laura Chung, Reggie Fogelman, Reese Banks, those rookies will lead the field down pit road, and they'll all make a pit stop here under caution. Let's go back and see what happened as another rookie, former winner this season, Jack Dunnard, goes for a wild ride. Had a number of former winners collected up in this one, the 88, the 09, the 27. So what all happens here, we'll try and focus on the Budweiser Chevrolet out of Northeast Motorsports. Oh, I think they tried 4 wide. Points leader Matt Haas, watch him going into turn 3. shows the nose, gets the apron a little bit there, sees a lane, and Jack Dunner might have been trying to give him room. He gets up into Matthews, up into Turner, and boy, up and over he goes. Dylan Pote might have gotten a piece of it. 88 car comes to a rest, fortunately, on all four wheels in the infield grass. See if we can get another angle of it. Caleb Fogler was in the vicinity, as was Noah Hendrickson. Don't know if they got involved or not. Daniel Voiles and Anthony McCurry back there. Let's see. Yeah, Voiles got a piece. Samuel Ryder is going to get a little bit of it. Pote was indeed involved. Charles Sanford was up there on the top side, but I think that was Dollarton. They might have just skirted their way through. Let's take a look at the aerial shot, courtesy of our chopper. And just watch how the track narrowed going into turn 3, and there was just not enough room for 3 wide or 4 wide. Caleb Vogler, nice save there. Hendrickson came to a stop. He did not get involved, nor did Sanford, nor did Dollarton. Nice piece of driving there by those drivers, as looks like about maybe a 7 or 8 car wreck out of turn 4 for the first caution of the day. Pit stops completed. Reggie Fogelman won the battle off of pit road, former winner last season. Looking for his first win in his first full-time season here with Northeast Motorsports. See him donning the rookie stripes. He only made, I think it was 10 or 11 starts last year when the 44 team that he drove for was actually put together about 5-6 weeks into the season. So he did not start the normal 12 races that a driver would have with the 3-way split in the cars, and thus did not reach the required 15 starts to not be considered in the rookie class. He'll have Nathan Ormond lined up with him in second. Third's going to be Zachary Fitzwater, Nick Gunther in fourth, and RJ Bishop fifth. Last week's winner Keith Batson sixth. Last week's runner-up Jessica Shelton in seventh. Eighth Michael Norman, ninth Reese Banks, and looks like Caleb Vogler is going to complete the top 10 here for this restart. Qualls, Miles, Osborne, Ryder, Poteet, Turner all came to pit road, all made repairs, have returned to the track. We've got 39 drivers still running, all on the lead lap. 2 drivers that will not reach the conclusion will be Kyle Matthews and Jack Dunnard, a couple of former winners from this season. And they will join Mitchell Collins back in the garage area. So far, less than 10 laps in, and 3 DNFs by 3 former winners this season. Dunnard at Phoenix, Matthews at Coke Zero Superspeedway, and Collins at Manassas. Jack Dunnard was 14th in points coming into this race, so this will be a big blow for him. Kyle Matthews, co-defending champion, 22nd in points coming into today's race at Chicagoland. Battle we should keep an eye on here today as well. Reggie Fogelman in that 24 is actually second in points, only 5 points behind rookie points leader William Hoer. So if Fogelman can come away with a good run or a victory here today, could have a new rookie points leader heading into the second half of the regular season as we're back underway here at Chicagoland Speedway. It was a double file start, single file restart, so maybe these drivers won't be quite as anxious to get into that 3 wide several rows deep that we saw. Maybe we can now settle into a decent speedway race. As Nick Gunther going to take advantage of Zachary Fitzwater, moves into third, not so fast, slips up the track, and here's the battle for the lead. Nathan Ormond takes a look on the inside of Reggie Fogelman. Nathan Ormond looking for his first victory since season 4. And trying to make it back-to-back wins for KB Racing Enterprises. There's his teammate Keith Batson right behind him. And just a few cars back on the inside line, you can see the bright yellow number 38 of Jose Mills, the only driver in the Duracell Cup Series that has won here in the past at Chicagoland Speedway. Reese Banks in the 44. Gonna drive it to the inside for the race lead. So we had a car back there. I think that was Carson Gum brushing the wall up at turn 4. Ormond may have brushed the wall as well. Yeah, 19's dropping back in a hurry. Here comes Laura Chung, who was the leader when they came back to the caution. She lost a number of spots there on pit road, but now fights her way back up to the lead. And now Ali Liera will take a turn down to the inside. And so much for my prediction of us not really going 3 wide that much, because we are almost looking 4 wide here on the front stretch. Oh, Reggie Fogelman's not going to let Jose Mills in. This is not good. Oh, they're going to wreck. How are they keeping this together? Oh, Mills was able to tuck up in front of Reese Banks. I don't know how we didn't have our second caution right there. 4 wide didn't work the first time. I didn't think there was any way it was going to work the second time. Oh, no, we're going 4 wide for the lead now. Matt Haas trying to clear on Ali Liera to make it back to 3 wide. Oh, my gosh, we're not done with cautions at all. There's going to be more torn up cars, so we're 4 wide for third. McCrory, Lamas, Haas, Ali Liera, and there we go. Big wreck. They're still wrecking. Off into turn 2. Caution's out. Butcher, Chung, I saw McCrory, Lamas, Bishop, Mills. Oh, and oncoming traffic, look out. Ryan Brommer, Fitzwater, Banks, Gunther's all torn up as Quentin Moore leads us back to the caution. Starting to vaguely remember why Chicagoland wasn't on the schedule for the last 3 seasons. RJ Bishop, looks like he's done for the day. Nick Gunther, slow again there in 3 and 4. I don't know if we had another incident take place. There's a lot of dust kicked up here in the 3 and 4 vicinity. Cole Deaver's on pit lane. Joshua Osborne, Cody Lamas. I know that Reese Banks was involved. So was Jose Mills. Daniel Boyles has got damage on the 26. Ryan Butcher, Anthony McCrory. As looks like a couple of drivers going to stay out. About 4 drivers. Moore, Johnson, Evans, Young, and now add Sanford and Ryder to that. So 6 drivers will stay out. Everybody else on pit lane. You'd think that with what we've had here, 2 early cautions, you'd want that track position most importantly, but the only problem with that theory is that last caution actually took place at the front of the field. Started, I believe, with the 61 of Anthony McCrory and the 13 of Cody Lamas in that 4 wide situation. Brommer, there's Gunther, there's Reese Banks, and then you had about another 4 further up with Mills and RJ Bishop. Boy, Dylan Pote did a nice job getting through that. And then I was really scared when Turner, Miles, and Qualls came barreling in because I thought they were all going to plow into this wreck. Visibility wasn't all that good. Let's see if we can find the 98. Oh, they were 4 wide, 2 rows deep. That's why we had another follow-up wreck. This 4 wide was Ryan Butcher, RJ Bishop, Keith Batson, and Reese Banks. And Reese gets spun out there, and then Ryan Butcher up into Laura Chung and RJ Bishop. There's where Mills gets involved. Saw Cole Deaver down in the apron. Did we have another wreck over here in turn 3 with 08? Oh, we did! This is where Osborne, Fogler, and Voiles are involved, and then I wonder if Nick Gunther comes into this vicinity, perhaps. Oh, they're still wrecking further back up there. That's... Oh, gosh, that was Reese Banks and Cody Lamas right there, but he also had Miles and Fitzwater wrecking into turn 3. He had about 4 different wrecks on that lap alone. Yeah, Deaver... Okay, so when Deaver went to avoid the wreck, he's on the apron. There you see, and he's trying to find a way back up, and that's just too shallow a corner to take. Carson Gum clips him in the right rear. Fogler got up into the wall courtesy of somebody, don't know who. Deaver collected up Osborne and Voiles, and then watch the 13 of Cody Lamas coming into view. He's got, Ryan Brummer right behind him, and he gets Osborne and then gets clobbered from behind by the 44 of Reese Banks. So what happens to the 28 car? Does he get forced out of room, Caleb Vogler? Or was this in relation to the Deaver thing? Oh, he gets clipped. Gets clipped in the left rear. And then where is Miles? There's Miles. Oh, Miles tried to pull low to avoid the wrecking up ahead. He comes down across the nose of Zachary Fitzwater. Wow, that's a lot to take in, and subsequently, that's a lot of drivers back in the garage area now. After our second caution of the day. Looks like we are going to have one lap machine. That's going to be Nick Gunther in the 55. Everybody else is either on the lead lap or out of the race. And the drivers out of the race now include Daniel Voiles, RJ Bishop, Joshua Osborne, Cody Lamas, Reese Banks, and Cole Deaver. They join Kyle Matthews, Jack Dunnard, and Mitchell Collins in the garage area. But the drivers that's going to hurt the most as far as points are concerned, RJ Bishop is the one that jumps out, 6th in the point standings. 66 points out of the points lead. Well, the field's getting thinned out. May get some green flag racing in, but that's a may in air quotes as things are going right now. Less than 20 laps in, already working our second caution of the day, and we've got 9 drivers back in the garage area. But it'll be Quentin Moore, the rookie out of Joanna Atwood Motorsports, that'll lead us back to green. Top 6, remember, decided not to pit, so Austin LaPlante in the 48, 7th place starter, has the freshest tires. Like at least the top 10 were able to get around the wounded 55 of Nick Gunther. As battle will be for the lead potentially. Rob Evans taking a look on the inside through 3 and 4 of Quentin Moore. Couldn't make it work. Charles Samper now looking for 3rd on Dylan Young. This could be considered a home track for Dylan Young. Dylan, a resident now of Florida, but his original roots from the Chicago, Illinois area. He's got 2 home tracks, kind of really, if you think about it here this season. We'll be at Chicago Motor Speedway at some point during the second half of the regular season as well. As Michael Norman, 3 wide for 2nd place, as Rob Evans takes the top spot into turn 1. Keep talking about it. Michael Norman, the only driver out of his team now that has not gone to victory lane. Dollarton, Rick Johnson, and Mitchell Collins have all picked up checkered flags here in Season 6. Almost 4 wide again, looking there through 3 and 4. They settle it back out to 3 as we've got a pack up here of about roughly 12 cars that appear to be up to speed. I think you've got a second pack there of drivers that also are up to speed, but they might have had a little bit more difficulty getting around Gunther and subsequently lost touch with this first pack. I saw Levi McIntyre back there heading that second group, and to my knowledge, he has not been involved in anything today. I think Nathan Ormond, Keith Batson, Destin Bolin, they're back in that group as well. As, LaPlante got his left sides down on the apron there going into turn 1. That was sketchy. Jessica Shelton in the 0-2. Back-to-back really, really good races for her. Got the 2nd place finish last week after her teammate Cole Deaver couldn't make it on fuel. Quentin Moore was super loose there through 3 and 4. Got up into Dylan Young and almost got hooked in the left rear by Austin LaPlante, but Shelton is 15th in points coming into today's race. It's looking like she is not that far out from finding victory lane here in Season 6. Quentin Moore, after gathering it back up in the 2nd spot. And look at Dylan Young with that nice push there down the back straightaway. He'll hold on to 3rd as they're catching up to the slower machine. I believe that is the 55 of Nick Gunther, who's just out there logging laps trying to get the best finish possible. Nick 4th in the point standings, a win at Sonoma I think right now his thought process is just log laps, get a decent finish if he can, hope for maybe a race of attrition, pick up spots, and preserve his gap to 30th in the standings. That slower car is going to split the field up quite a bit more. A couple of drivers had a little bit of difficulty getting around him, including the 16 of Ali Liera, the 93 of Rick Johnson, and the 03 of Charles Sanford. You've now got about 7 or 8 cars up in this lead group, being led by Jessica Shelton. Samuel Ryder, Rick Johnson, Charles Sanford look like they have just barely got themselves latched onto the tail end of this lead group. Then you've got a second pack that Ali Liera fell back to after she was held up behind Gunther. Noah Hendrickson, Nathan Ormond, and Keith Batson are in this group. That's back to 16th. 3 wide for position between Turner, Poteet, and Boland. Turner doesn't have a rear deck lid there, a rear bumper, but that doesn't seem to be affecting his speed at all. Chris Dollerton mired back in the 21st position. I don't believe he's been involved in a wreck. So he might have just been trapped back in traffic, as you've got good battling here. Anthony McCurry, Zachary Fitzwater, Ryan Butcher, and Carson Gum. This would be for 22nd through 25th. Laura Chung just got around Benjamin Snyder to move into 25th. There's the 24 of Reggie Fogelman, who we were talking about, led a couple of laps in this race, 4 in total. But now he's way back here in 27th. There's 28th place Caleb Fogler, Qualls in 29th. Here's the battle for 30th between Miles and Brummer. And Jose Mills, the only driver to take a checkered flag here, back in the 32nd position, about to be the first car, 1 lap down. Oh, Quentin Moore wanted to get to the inside, and Michael Norman said, nope, I'm here. And he'll pin the 89 behind the 38, as Norman will go to the race lead. Nice use of the slower car there by the veteran in the 22. Dylan Young will follow him into second. Charles Sanford now side by side with Levi McIntyre for third. Look at the names we got up here right now, trying to get their first win on the season. It's amazing we're saying that, but Dylan Young, Michael Norman, Matt Haas, Charles Sanford, Levi McIntyre all still have a 0 in the win column. Right now, your highest running former winner would be Rick Johnson in the 93, who's now looking to the inside of his Michael Norman Motorsports teammate for third. We've also got Will Hoer up here in this lead pack in the 83. Those are the only 2 drivers in this lead group that have previously won this season. And you've also got your top 3 in the point standings up in this lead group, the 8, the 22, and the 83. So you think that battle for the regular season championship down the home stretch isn't going to be hot and heavy? Well, I think you would be wrong. You get 15 bonus points towards the playoffs if you win the regular season championship. As Nick Gunther yielded on the top side, as the lap cars should. Unfortunately, everybody was double wide behind him, and that top line's going to pay the price. Dylan Young, Michael Norman, and others were in the wrong lane when they encountered that 55 through the center of the corner. Here you see the lucky ones, Sanford, Johnson, McIntyre, Ryder, and Shelton, that were able to get through. Got some more cars up ahead, some more traffic. That's Brummer and Miles. And then James Qualls not that far ahead either. Well, it took us 2 cautions, 2 big wrecks, and about nearly 10 drivers out of the race for us to get into this long green flag run. Lap traffic is certainly coming into play, but now one has to wonder about pit road. You had 6 drivers stay out under the last caution. Everybody came to pit road under the first caution. So just how far can those 6 drivers make it on fuel? When will they have to come to pit lane? I would assume that with us having that last pit stop less than 20 laps into this race, that nobody can make it. Maybe the drivers that came to pit road under the second caution can 1 stop it. The other ones might have to go with 2 stops. We'll see. Teammates drag race to the line. Shelton will lead over Charles Sanford. Rob Evans looking on in the 65. Chevrolet trying to counter Ford's victory last week. As we almost had a wreck right there. I don't know if Samuel Ryder, if he got loose or if he almost got some help from the 93 of Rick Johnson. But now Shelton's trapped up on the top side behind the 70 of James Qualls. You got the 25, you've got the 87 in here. They're all lap machines, and this has allowed that second group to catch up. I just noticed Nathan Orman, Noah Hendrickson, and Keith Batson have caught the lead group. So this breathes new life into those drivers and their opportunity to win this race, as Ali Liera in the 16, Austin LaPlante in the 48, Rob Evans in the 65, 3 wide for the lead. Quentin Moore showing the nose to go 4 wide. Don't do that, Quentin. Oh, gosh, that is a rookie trying to make a gutsy move, and it may not pan out. Oh, we're 4 wide. We are 4 into turn 1. I was hoping we'd be done with cautions. Oh, that's tight. They're leaning on each other. Somebody give. Somebody please just bail out of this. They're not gonna. Oh, this is gonna be a wreck. Oh, it's the teammates. Ellen Liera and Rob Evans. Caution's out. Oh, look out. They're drifting down the track, and they're going to get hit. Ryan Brommer. Oh, there's more traffic coming. There's more coming. Oh, no. Turner and Miles. Or make that Snyder and Moore. Fogelman and McCrory. Oh. When the caution lights are on, a driver's first instinct should be to slow down. And unfortunately, that's not been the case here tonight. Fogelman, Brommer, Snyder, McCrory, they're done for the day. So they came flying in, and that was 4 wide, and it was the 2 teammates out of Evans Gardner Motorsports, Ali Liera and Rob Evans, that made the contact and went up into the wall. Liera is able to continue. Evans was the one that got clobbered by Ryan Brommer. And with closing on 30 laps to go, is this the final pit stop of the day maybe that these drivers had to make? They may not have to worry about coming to pit road under green flag conditions. Let's go back and see what happened. We saw most of it take place live. I was impressed that they were able to hold it 4 wide as long as they did, but you just knew it was the calm before the storm. And here it was into 3 and 4. Quentin Moore pushed up a little bit there. Ali Liera trying to give room. Evans to her top side. They make contact, and then here's where the problem is. They drift down the track, and you got the oncoming cars. Ryan Brommer piles in. There's Jesse Turner. There's Benjamin Snyder. There's Fogelman. And Anthony McCrory had the whole left front completely shredded off when he got into the 47 of Jesse Turner. Last couple of weeks, Coke Zero Super Speedway, Dodge Motordrome. Last week at Darlington, when we've had a wreck, we've had a wreck. We've had some big ones here. Wrecks already happened. We're watching the 47 and the 74 teammates. Yeah, you can see Snyder knew something was happening ahead. He was trying to get to the apron, and 87 gets shot down into his path. There you see where McCrory gets hit, and I mean, look how that whole left front tire is exposed. The fender completely shredded off. Dollerton and Butcher able to get through and pick up some spots. This is why Nick Gunther stayed out, despite having a very off-the-pace machine, because he's going to pick up a half-dozen spots with drivers retiring out of the race after this 3rd caution of the day. And those drivers are going to include Benjamin Snyder, Anthony McCrory, Jesse Turner, Rob Evans, Reggie Fogelman, and Ryan Brommer. So Gunther, who was running 33rd prior to that caution, he will be roughly around 25th, I think, when we go back green. That's a net gain of 8 spots. That's why if the engine's still running, you stay out and you log laps. It's like Benjamin Miles, James Qualls, Jose Mills, who all lost laps under that green flag run. They will be on the inside line along with Nick Gunther. We should have 23 drivers by my last count on the lead lap still. And Austin LaPlante is going to be the one to lead us back to green. As I said, with less than 30 laps to go. If the lights go out this next time by, we should have 28 laps remaining. Well, while we got the opportunity, let's give you your lap leader update. Quentin Moore has led the most laps here today with 8 circuits. 7 laps led for Jessica Shelton. It's been 3 laps led for both Ali Liera and Austin LaPlante, who now just led his 4th. 4 laps led also for Reggie Fogelman. 2 turns out in front for Charles Sanford and Rob Evans. Reese Banks also led 2 laps, despite being back in the garage. And then 1 lap led apiece for drivers Rick Johnson, Michael Norman, Dylan Young, Levi McIntyre, Destin Boland, Chris Dollerton. I'm sorry, not Chris Dollerton. It was Zachary Fitzwater, Ryan Brommer. Those are the drivers that have led so far here today. Well, it's a Northeast Motorsports front row. Austin LaPlante the leader. Benjamin Miles a lap down. Michael Norman will be second on the restart, with Rick Johnson, Quentin Moore, and Jessica Shelton completing the top 5. Charles Sanford is 6th. 7th, Matt Haas. Noah Hendrickson, his teammate, now up to 8th. Dylan Young, 9th. And Samuel Ryder completes the top 10. Levi McIntyre, Will Howard, Nathan Norman, Keith Batson, Destin Boland. That's the top 15. Then Gum, Poteet, Fitzwater, Dollerton, and Chung. That is the top 20. Ryan Butcher, Ali Liera, Caleb Fogler, the last drivers on the lead lap, 23 in total, as the green flag is back in the air at Chicagoland. Top 4, maybe 5 will get clear of the 25 car off of turn 2. Michael Norman going to go for the race lead on LaPlante into turn 3. So that restart was with 27 laps to go. Big question mark of, was that within the fuel window for these drivers to make it the rest of the way without having to come to pit road? We've had a couple of races here in the past where we've thought drivers can make it. They're good to go. And last week, Cole Deaver ended up having to give up a second place finish to dive onto pit lane with 2 laps remaining, and subsequently finished way outside of the top 20. So hopefully, if indeed that's the final pit stop of the day, these drivers made sure that their pit crews got them full of fuel. Noah Hendrickson in that 80 car restarted back in the 7th position, and he's now up to 2nd. Did a great job of leading that second group up to the lead pack when they got held up with the slower traffic. He's got a shot here to be the 4th different rookie to go to victory lane this season. Actually, correction, 5th different rookie. Quentin Moore, also a rookie there. And you've got 3 of our previous 4 rookies that have won this season up in this lead group. Rick Johnson, William Hoer, and there's the 12 of Destin Boland at the tail end of this group as, oh gosh, are we 4 wide again? We were. Okay, we're good. Woo. Matt Haas going to move into 2nd as Shelton goes back to the lead. With Jessica Shelton leading the last 2 laps, she now surpasses Quentin Moore for most laps led, so that's a bonus point that would be heading her way if nobody else is able to eclipse 9 laps led, as William Hoer, our winner from Las Vegas, another 1.5-mile racetrack. He's going to lead that lap by a couple of feet, maybe a foot. Will Howard dropped out of 2nd in the standings, was in a good battle with Matt Haas for the overall points lead, did not have the run he was looking for last week at Darlington, and lost 2nd position to Michael Norman. Well, actually tied with Michael Norman for 2nd. Oh gosh, LaPlante almost got into Matt Haas, but Will Howard trying to get back into that points lead battle as Dylan Young's going to lead that lap, and they are fast approaching the 55 of Nick Gunther once again. Just noticed the 19 of Carson Gum latched on to the tail end of this group. The former champ, the former Daytona 500 winner. Had a great run last week at Darlington. Jumped up 5 spots in the standings to now 24th in points, and seeing if he can find victory lane for the first time this season. As you saw, Dylan Young and a number of others get trapped behind the 55 of Nick Gunther. They were 3 wide when they caught him. Again, the 55's doing nothing wrong, going out there logging laps. The unfortunate thing is they're double wide and 3 wide behind him. He's got to choose the lane that the drivers want him to yield to, and then they have to get around him accordingly. Kind of goes back to the situation we had last week at Darlington when Keith Batson, who went on to win the race, but from the lead ended up getting into the 74 of Benjamin Snyder. Snyder moved up to the top side, feeling that was the lane that Keith Batson was going to want, wanting the inside line. Batson got a big run out of 2, showed the nose to the top side, got his nose chopped off, but if you're a lap machine and you're holding your line, it's up to the leaders to make sure they make their way around you safely. And there's obviously some correspondence going on, some communication on the leaders to the spotter of the 55, asking, to either yield the top or yield the bottom. Here at Chicagoland, I would assume that they would want him to go to the top and they would take the inside line. And so far, that's what Nick Gunther's been doing. So the field gets split up. There's got to be some frustrations for those drivers that are trapped in the line behind the 55, but there's nothing he can do about it. 3 wide for the lead here. You saw Jessica Shelton stay up on the outside line with Charles Sanford down the backstretch, trying to get him clear, but it did not work. Destin Bolin is going to forge ahead and lead that lap in the Kellogg's Mustang. Look at the scenarios we've got right here. The 12, the 83, the 39, all in this lead pack, former winners this season. We've so far had 12 races and 12 different drivers have gone to victory lane, which means that if all 12 are inside the top 30 in points, it leaves only 4 spots available for drivers to point their way in. We've yet to have a repeat winner who would be sitting atop the playoffs as the #1 seed. Got a chance for that here tonight at Chicagoland. Is 3 wide for the 2nd position. LaPlante, the inside of Quentin Moore. Austin LaPlante, 23rd in points. His 2 finishes inside the top 10 have resulted in top 5s, but he's kind of been a little bit under the radar here this season. It's about the most prominent we've seen him at the front of the field in a race in recent memory. So he's trying to reel in Destin Bolin. He's in a Young Motorsports sandwich right now with Dylan Young, the team owner, right behind him in the 2 car. Can these drivers make it on fuel? Be 13 to go next time by. Correction, 14 to go next time by. Got some more traffic up ahead. That's Gunther again in the 55, and then I think you got Jose Mills in the 38, about a half straightaway further up. There are 11 cars on the lead lap in this lead group right now, after the field really got split up. Rick Johnson, Matt Haas, Michael Norman, Nathan Orman, Zachary Fitzwater, and Levi McIntyre were the biggest losers on the exchange, trying to get around the 55 of Nick Gunther, and now we've split up to about 3 cars in this lead group, Bolin, Sanford, and LaPlante. They're still trying to get around Gunther. Now Keith Batson and Will Ho are going to get held up on the inside line. Dylan Young, Carson Gunn just now getting around. Can Shelton, Moore, and Ryder reel in the top 3, who have now caught the slower machine of Jose Mills? And Destin Bolin was the one that got held up that time in the 12 car. A reminder, folks, next week, it's All-Star Race Weekend. We'll be at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. All-Star Open, the qualifying races to be a last-minute shot of getting into the All-Star Race. We'll be going green around 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then the All-Star Race itself goes green at 7 Eastern. Be sure to join us for that, the precursor to the second half of the regular season, which will kick off still at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, the longest race of the year, the Coca-Cola 600 in 2 weeks' time. Well, Destin Bolin a couple of weeks ago, with great starting track position, picked up his first career victory at Dodge Motordrome. He's trying to hold off Charles Sanford and Austin LaPlante, and he picked the right line that time out of turn 2. Going to the top, Sanford trying to get by the 25 of Benjamin Miles, who might be playing a little bit of defense here for his teammate in the 48, but now Sanford going to force the 25 up the racetrack, and Jessica Shelton going to try and help push the 0-3 by. I think Benjamin Miles was trying to help the 48 car out. Now Shelton and Sanford will battle for second. That's good news for Destin Bolin, because that's going to help him to hold this gap of about 6-7 car lengths down the back straightaway, but they're going to reel him back in. Look at the run that Jessica Shelton's getting into turn 3. The draft very prevalent here, especially with the nighttime conditions. More grip, higher speeds, and much more prevalent draft. So Destin Bolin might be a sitting duck when they reel him in here. Another car up ahead that they're going to have to deal with. I think that was Qualls in the 70. He has an alliance with the 89 of Quentin Moore, who's now in the 5th position. So will Qualls try and help his rookie teammate when they encounter him? S3 Motorsports teammates will go side by side for second. Bolin was really good when they encountered the Benjamin Miles machine in picking the lane that was the correct lane. Is he going to pick it this time? Ooh, he closes in. He's have to get on the brakes. Oh, he tried to chop down in front of Sanford, who had a head of steam, and Sanford said, "No, sir, you're not closing the door on me." Pushes the 12 up behind the 70, and Charles Sanford is going to go to the point. LaPlante into second. Hendrickson to third, Young to fourth, and Sanford, ooh, might have carried a little too much speed that time. He slipped up the track and opened up the door for the 48 of Austin LaPlante. Hearing some more engines up ahead. One of those might be the 77 of Laura Chung. So we may not be done with lap traffic here with less than 10 to go. Hendrickson now taking 3 wide with LaPlante on the top side, Dylan Young on the bottom. You got 8 cars up in this lead group right now, battling for the win. Look at Sam Ryder in the 63. Talked about Nathan Ormond trying to make it back-to-back wins for KB Racing Enterprises. Well, what about that rookie in the McDonald's Ford Mustang, Samuel Ryder? Sam is 26th in points coming into this race as Gunther was on the inside line and Dylan Young picked the right lane. D. Young will go to the point with less than 5 to go. Less than 6 to go, I should say. Coming to 5 to go this time by, and the field really got split up that time. Oh, Shelton stuck behind Gunther, Ryder, McIntyre, Batson. Look at this, Michael Norman, Nathan Norman, McIntyre, Batson, and Hoer and Johnson. They've all caught back up now. Have a shot to finish inside of the top 10. Look how the field is split up. Teammates for the lead. Bolin going to look to the inside of Dylan Young. And here comes Hendrickson in the 80. This time by, it will be 4 laps to go. Toyota is still looking for their first win on the season. Noah Hendrickson, the rookie out of Haas Racing, might be the one to do it. A couple of rookies to battle for the lead. A couple of veterans battling for third. Charles Sanford and Dylan Young. And they're closing in on the Laura Chung machine very quickly. Destin Bolin leads this lap. That'll be the most laps led, 11, and he did lead that lap, so now he's got the bonus point for most laps led, surpassing Jessica Shelton's 10. They've caught Laura Chung. Destin Bolin picked the wrong lane. Inside line will prevail. Hendrickson will go to the lead. Dylan Young will move to second. Sanford into third. Can Bolin tuck down in front of Quentin Moore? He's going to try, and Moore will not let him in. 3 wide for the lead. Sanford forces Dylan Young to the middle and Hendrickson up top side as the 80 might have brushed the wall there off of 4. 2 laps to go here at Chicagoland. And Charles Sanford showing the way. Looking for S3 Motorsports' second win on the season. Ooh, Laura Chung got really loose there off of turn 2. Can they make it around to take the white? Can we stay under green flag conditions? Destin Bolin, big run out of turn 4. Dylan Young got the wall. Here comes Bolin to the inside as the white flag is in the air here at Chicagoland. If Bolin clears, can Sanford tuck down in front of Quentin Moore? He can. Sanford going to try and battle back here as Destin Bolin looking for his second win on the season. Charles Sanford, does he have anything for the 12 going into 3 and 4? Trying to draw as close as he can. He's got a nice run here out of turn 4, but can he get to the inside? No, he cannot. Destin Bolin's going to become the first repeat winner on the season. The rookie gets his second career win in the last 3 weeks. Tonight, it's at Chicagoland Speedway. What an amazing season it's been so far for Destin Boland. Mired in the point standings, no higher than 35th in the first 10 races. And then, race 11 finds victory lane at Dodge Motordrome. 2 weeks later, he's the first repeat winner on the season. He came into tonight's race a race winner, 38th in points. He was that far down in the standings that his race win didn't help climb him anywhere higher than the 35th spot. At Destin Bolin, I don't think that this win's going to climb him out of the top 30 in points either. Well, maybe it might. He was 16 points behind the cut line, so maybe it will. Maybe it will. Maybe he's got a shot at getting outside the top 30 in points. And if he does, that means Destin Bolin is going into the second half of the regular season as the #1 seed in the playoffs, as a rookie. How about that? What a run for Destin Bolin. Made the pass on Charles Sanford. Charles had a nice run on, might have needed another lap to be able to get around him. He got to him, but wasn't able to pass him. And Destin Bolin, only his 13th career start in the Duracell Cup Series and his second trip to victory lane. What a coup for Young Motorsports, picking up this young rookie for their team. As the standings are official, and here they are. Destin Bolin with the victory. Charles Sanford was right there, but he could not get to the inside, couldn't get that run. He'll finish in second. Quentin Moore, great run for that 89. He'll get third. Dylan Young's going to make it a 1-4 finish for Young Motorsports in fourth. And Noah Hendrickson's going to finish the day out with a top 5 in fifth. Rookies, 3 of the top 5 positions. Austin LaPlante will get 6th. Carson Gum, good run there in 7th. William Hoer is going to finish the day out in 8th. He'll close in on the points gap, as will Michael Norman between themselves and Matt Haas, but Haas should still keep the points lead. Ormond's going to bring it home in 9th, and Keith Batson in 10th, so that's back-to-back great runs there for Ormond and Batson. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's back-to-back top 14 finishes for all 3 of the KB Racing Enterprises cars, because Ryder finished in 14th place. Michael Norman's going to get 11th, 12th for Rick Johnson, Levi McIntyre 13th, and then Matt Haas completed the top 15. So that'll be enough for him to keep that points lead as mentioned. Zachary Fitzwater was 16th. Jessica Shelton got held up behind, I think it was the 55 of Nick Gunther. It dropped her all the way back to 17th place after she was up front for a good portion of this second half of the race. Chris Dollerton 18th, Dylan Poteet 19th, and 20th for Ryan Butcher. Last cars to finish on the lead lap were Caleb Fogler and Ali Liera, 22 cars in total, finishing on the same lap as the leader. Lap machines were Laura Chung, James Qualls, Benjamin Miles, Jose Mills, and Nick Gunther. 27 cars finished under their own power, and here you see the drivers that finished out of the race after 3 cautions here tonight for 12 laps. Some big ones down there. Number of former winners as well, and Osborne and Voiles and Matthews and Dunnard. A couple of drivers that were running really well in the point standings as well, like RJ Bishop. And a driver you do not see on this list, 42nd place, Mitchell Collins, who was 9th in points coming into this race, didn't even get to take the green due to a mechanical problem, could not get the car fired, rolling off the grid on pit road. So, we're going to have ourselves, I think, once again, another points shakeup, and it'll be very interesting to see what our playoff outlook is heading into the second half of the regular season. A little treat for you guys, our graphics department, the next second half of the regular season, in 2 weeks' time, kicking off the Coke 600, we'll be showing you what the potential playoff grid looks like at the beginning of each race. So looking forward to that. And of course, next week, it's All-Star Race weekend from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We've got the All-Star Open, the last chance to qualify into the All-Star Race. The green flag kicks off at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then the big one, the All-Star Race itself, the same night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time scheduled. Green flag for that one. Hope you will join us for that festivities before we begin the second half of the regular season, the chase towards the chase for the championship with the Coke 600 at Charlotte. But here tonight, Destin Bolin is the Rookie of the Hour. Rookies continue to show their prowess here in the Duracell Cup Series, and Destin Bolin took us 13 races, but he is the first repeat winner on the season here in Season 6 of the Duracell Cup Series. Congratulations to him. Thanks to everybody that tuned in tonight here to our coverage from Chicagoland Speedway. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, part of the crew today. We showed you full finished results. These are the point standings heading into the second half of the regular season. Next week, no points, a lot of pride, some money on the line, a chance to maybe get locked into next season's All-Star Race before we begin getting back to business and getting into the playoffs via a checkered flag in the second half of the regular season. Until then, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV, offline racing at its best.